Is Halloween over? Have the tricksters been treated for their sins? Good. Now I can review this movie without them little shats all up in my door. Well, you figured the keep out or die sign would have been taken literally. Well, the real reason I wanted to wait so long to do this episode is to do it in remembrance. For those of you who are not aware, my good friend Ivor Wood passed away during the events of the Erasers, and I never had a chance to do a proper tribute to him. For the obvious reason. So, I got the time to do it, and I'm gonna take a look at a project that Mr. Wood had no involvement in whatsoever. Truly a great way to preserve his memory. Besides, what's the worst that can happen anyway? I mean, not having some monster blood before the recording of this session, but you know what? I can wait. I have all the time in the world. So for those of you who don't know about the Wombles and the environmental message that the original children's book series and the cartoon wanted people to take out of, you're evil. But what we're looking at has nothing to do with that anyway. We're looking at the live-action movie known as Wombling Free. I guess with the popularity of the 70s cartoon, it made sense to do a film, even if it has no connection with the cartoon at all. Except the music.
Wombles are organized, work as a team. Wombles are tidy and wombles are clean. Underground, overground, wombling free.
So, let's go underground and overground into it. Yes, that's what I'm going with, pleb, so shut up. This is Wombling Free. First off, I should be grateful that one of our leading actors is David Tomlinson, who you may know as Mr. Banks from Mary Poppins. But all I'm thinking of during this whole credit scene is, why place natural disasters over this orchestra? Because throwing garbage isn't enough for kids to be terrified of, and I guess the filmmakers wanted to make this personal.
When the world first was, even from the days of Eve and Adam, there were the Wombles.
Huh. So maybe it wasn't a snake that deceived Adam and Eve after all. Maybe this Womble just told them off to God in hopes for revenge. You know, people should read the Bible more often to get the facts right. So while explaining the origins of these creatures cleaning up the filth of the humans since literally day one, I do have to point out that since this is a live-action movie, the Wombles are just people in suits, and they look just as convincing as seeing Mickey Mouse at Disneyland. Now, while I can see as this being a downgrade compared to the 70s cartoon, first off, The models and no shorts moving around, that was about as convincing in this film anyway, so not much of a problem. Second, it's not like they got random hobos from the street to play the Wombles anyway. They did get a mixture of actors to portray them physically. Actually, a few of them would go on to do the original Star Wars trilogy, so that's cool, if you're into it. And you even have a separate cast of actors doing the voice of the Wombles. One of them actually being Del Boy. I mean David Jason. Now, that's cool. Oh yeah, and there's the third Doctor of Apple. Whatever! But speaking of Wombles, yes, your favourite characters are here, like Orinoco, Bungo, Wellington, and of course, Great Uncle Bulgaria. It's not like they pulled a Space Jam and added in a girl character just to add in a girl character. No. We had the 90s adaptation to do that.
Standing on your tiptoes, running on the spot. Exercise is good for you, laziness is not. Running in the morning, good for the thighs. Running in the evening, good for the eyes.
I could ask why there are songs that promote yoga instead on trash disposal. But really? I want to hear how this chipmunk sounds slowed down.
Poetry in motion, legs in line, pressing up and pressing down, 4/4 time. Standing on your tiptoes, running on the spot. Exercise is good for you, laziness is not. Standing on your tiptoes, running on the spot. Exercise is good for you, laziness is not.
Truly doing Ivor proud of this ruining of nostalgia. Yes! I mean, speaking of trash disposal, they really go above and beyond to tell the audience that trash is bad. Yeah, we're supposed to take this subject seriously, but how can we with images like this?
If only human beings would learn to use the stuff.
Subtle, Wombling Free. Subtle.
Human beings ought to listen to us. After all, as he says, we're only trying to keep the world a clean, tidy and beautiful place for us all to live in, them as well as us.
Bongo, we've tried to make them understand. We've tried loads of times. Great Uncle Bulgaria's been trying to tell them for hundreds of years.
Oh, so that explains how he knew about Adam and Eve. And that also raises the question of how long do Wombles live for? But that's not important for young Bongo, at least. You see, in this movie, he's a freshman. Fresh Womble, if you will. And he aims to make at least one human understand the importance of trash dispositing. But you see, humans can't see Wombles, or at least move aside to pretend not to see them. Was that ever a thing in the books? All except one little girl.
Boy! Pick that up.
What?
She's seen me.
Got to go now. School. Bye.
Bye.
I'm off to audition as a fitness instructor for Doctor Who! So as Bongo celebrates his quest by
Make contact! I made contact!
being the prototype for Count Duckula, he tells the other Wombles of this great news, including the big GBU, who is quite surprised by this.
What did you tell her to listen to?
I forgot.
There's not much point in telling human beings to listen if you don't tell them what to listen to. Well, it's a step forward, young Bungo.
You know, it's no wonder that humans don't listen to Wombles if the latter doesn't listen to each other anyway. It's like a Game of Thrones forum. And I guess it also doesn't help that at least 90% of Bulgaria's dialogue in this film is either bad-mouthing humans or explaining how nature is getting destroyed by their ignorance.
Look at this lot. This was all perfectly clean and tidy last night. I've seen Mr. Frogwood many times close to, but he chooses not to see me. Look at that wretched thing. It fills our ears with noise and our noses with a disgusting and dangerous smell. It's all waste. I sometimes think that if it wasn't for us Wombles, they'd be over their ears in rubbish by now. In fact, they probably soon will be.
Well, I would talk smack about Wombles too! Except I can't see them. Therefore, I can't be racist about a species that I can't see. Thanks for the tip, Great Uncle Bulgaria, you wombling pile of pus! But Bulgaria does take a disguise later that day to post a request in the Times newspaper. Wait a second. It's been established humans can't see Wombles, so why would he need a disguise to bugger it. And that requests get to the newspapers and even to the little girl and her family, the father played by David Tomlinson. And while he does fine in this role of being a no-nonsense workaholic, I feel the problem here is that not only has it been done before for this man, but it's surprisingly downplayed for this film. So for those of you who wanted a spoonful of Banks to help the medicine go down, then you're not going to find much of that here. Instead, you got Nut Banks. You're welcome.
But Daddy, it's his uncle. He says we've got to listen.
And I suppose he's 4 feet, fat and furry as well.
Possibly, Daddy.
What in the name of Mary Poppins is the world coming to?
Oh my God! Oh, that was painful! The pun! What is it? Why does it hurt so? Disney, why would you hurt me?
Saving up for the house next.
It's okay, Reese. I'm here forevermore. Why could I only see darkness for about 10 seconds there? Oh well, that doesn't stop the little girl from listening anyway, and for the Wombles to force anyone to listen. Well, except for pointless side plots where evil man plans to build an expressway over Wimbledon Common, led by Mr. Loves His Mouth and the camera face here. And that goes nowhere. Nor does this random music video where Womble romancing seems to be confirmed.
Madame Cholet, don't go away, s'il vous plaît. We couldn't survive without you, that's no lie.
Well, I guess the reason for the 90-minute running time was not because of a nice, flowing, focused story, after all. But Bungo does go out to meet the little girl for tea, as well as Wellington giving him some kind of liquid mixture thing that will make the grass grow or something if you pour the mixture onto the grass. Was that in the books too?
Well, he hasn't gone yet, has he?
Who?
Bungo!
Yes, why?
You didn't get him to put the top on!
Does that matter?
Of course it matters. The outside air's full of pollution, and if that mucky stuff gets into the jar, anything could happen.
Anything?
Anything! And I do mean anything!
Okay, see, now, look, you said that if you try to mix the air into the mixture, it was gonna, like, run away and cause havoc for nature anyway, so if that's the case, you couldn't mix air into the mixture anyway, then this attempt at saving the trees was going to fall! See what it does? The tree was falling. Okay.
Mummy,
Yes, dear?
can I have a friend to tea?
Oh, what friend, dear? Not Jimmy Wonky, I trust. We've had such trouble with Jimmy Wonky. You see, he's invisible. Kim made him up.
Oh yeah! And that's not gonna affect your only daughter's psyche by talking mean stuff about her right in front of her face! What in the name of Mary Poppins is wrong with this family?
Hello, Mrs. Throgmorton.
Hello.
It's very nice to see you.
It's very nice to be able to see you.
But surprisingly, the mother does see Bungo, as she was able to listen. After accusing her child of mental problems. Duh! And this goes over so well that Kim and Bungo plan a birthday party for Great Uncle Bulgaria, who is over 300 years old, and not over 2,000 years old, as we previously thought. That will happen right after more pointless storylines and out-of-nowhere music videos. I'm starting to see a pattern with this feel-good picture. One of these filler points is actually based on the books themselves, with Mick Womble the Terrible here paying a visit. See, this is fine and all, except that it was already adapted to a few episodes of the cartoon anyway. So, when you're already done that and you're watching this movie, it just feels like you're watching an old Looney Tunes cartoon during a Looney Tunes movie. Though I must admit, Watching this particular scene where the obviously fake Japanese man is trying to market off McWumble's car with his dubbing worse than old Godzilla movies.
Hey, potential possibilities, fantastic. Solve world fuel shortage and no pollution problem. Not let whole world see.
It's making me feel sorry for his supposed wife. Some of these shots look like she is not amused. I would imagine many lawsuits would transpire after this. But seeing as how it's not pollution related, it's just easy money for the filmmakers. Yay! Yeah, I got nothing. Lawsuits, that's it.
Don't wide it out over all he's got, don't it? Sorry about that.
Serves you right if it hurts.
Well then, with language like that, it's no wonder he's so terrible. But again, not pollution related, so let the idiots do whatever! Anyway, let's focus on the intended main plot line. Yes, let's! In this scene, we see Mr. Nutbanks trying to suppress his belief in Wombles. Kind of similar to another family movie, isn't it?
Whole heap of junk have gone. Like it was cleaned up by magic.
Or Wombles?
Julia!
Well, it could be.
Julia, please. What are Wombles, Mrs. Frogmorton?
Never mind, Mr. Arnold Takahashi. Don't go on about it, that's all.
I am not going on about it. And why the hell are you talking like that all of a sudden? And why the hell are you talking like that all of a sudden? You got trouble with new teeth, old cock?
I don't know whether to be more concerned about how much the 70s can get away in a kids' film with language like that, or why the Japanese wife is looking more like an Oriental Marilyn Manson.
I met one. His name's Bungo. He's 4 foot tall, fat and furry, and...
Hard to believe this is one of the last roles I'll have in my entire life! Should have gone with Herbie Goes Bananas. Well, regardless of that awkward evening, Bungo meets up with the girl and her mom the next morning and tells them the message that they were supposed to take away from this whole thing or something.
It's to do with keeping Wimbledon Common, this common, clean, and to get in touch with you human beings so that all the world can be kept clean and tidy, and to make good use of bad rubbish to stop mankind and Womblekind from disappearing in it up to their ears. Be quicker for us, because we're smaller.
So that's it. Oh, my dear, dear Bungo, I believe in that too.
So, to recap, all of Great Uncle Bulgaria's racism comments about humans and the movie's attempt to scare the kids into taking better care of the world was pointless. Saw like 50% of the movie before this scene, ain't it? Oh well, they arranged the birthday party for the old fat fiddler anyway, and have a jolly good old time, eh, what? I just realised that this movie is stereotypical to British people. Oh god, I'm offended. And of course, with all this going on, and Mr. Nutbanks coming home from work, he sees the incident for himself, and so now does he believe? Oh! That joke was most untasteful. I don't regret making that joke. So yeah, Mr. Banks doesn't have a heart attack, but he does see the Wombles and he vows to help them spread the word of the painfully obvious. After a reprise of this song.
Standing on your tiptoes, running on the spot. Exercise is good for you, laziness is not. Running in the morning, good for the thighs. Running in the evening, good for the eyes.
But with the mission of this movie complete and every human and Womble united for a good cause, nothing can ruin this moment now. Except God. If there's one thing that this film didn't prepare for, it was rain! Rain! Clearly that's the most harmful thing on, guys. See you at 5 for tea.
Bungle, old thing. Need any help?
Tell you what. Yes, please.
But wait! The children are coming to help the Wombles pick up the rubbish! Ending the movie quite abruptly, actually. So, I guess the moral is that don't bother asking adults to raise awareness of pollution, because in the end it's better for the little ones to do it for you, because they have little hands and little bodies that'll make the job go faster.
God, this movie is so 70s.
I mean, seeing the Wombles in live action is a nice idea, but when you fill that idea into this movie, filled to the brim with overdone pollution talk, humor and jokes that wouldn't fly in today's media, pointless side plots and songs, even if you do include the theme tune of the original cartoon in there, and decent actors for a script that's better off in an after-school production, it's a real disappointment. If you want to make a Wombles movie and talk about the effects of not throwing your rubbish out into the open, that's fine. But the other important thing you have to nail is to let the Wombles be the Wombles. I didn't get my favorite characters out of this movie. I saw environment awareness cliches acting with racism cliches. At least with Dougal and the Blue Cat, those characters were my favorite characters that were alongside a very interesting plot in a feature-length film. Wombling 3 is sadly not that. And I look forward to forgetting about that just as I've taken care of my problem upstairs.
Oh yeah? And how are you going to do that, smart guy?
I'm glad you asked.
No, wait, I didn't think this differently!
So, it would appear that a piece of your soul has survived in your mask, Ivor Wood.
And soon, I will take your body, preschool guy. Finally, my revenge will be realized, and your life all mine for the taking.
But of course,
Say what?
you can have my body, Ivor, if you can answer truthfully this one question. Why do you want my body?
So I can have my revenge!
We're friends! Have you forgotten that fact? Friends don't take other friends' bodies! There's another reason here. What is it?
Oh, what do you care? You and your fancy job making fun of children's programming? Even my own? Oh, some friend that is!
I wouldn't do it unless I care. And my life isn't as perfect as you're making it out to be. My mother died at a young age, my adopted sister scarred by my psychotic ways, and countless people attempting to murder me, just like your own self.
No.
Stop it! Answer my question, Ivor. Why? Why do you want such a tortured body?
Because I don't want to die! I don't. I fear of what will happen afterwards. And if anyone will remember me.
I remember you. For 25 years, in fact.
No, you don't need to say it.
Yes, I do. Your cartoons have helped me a lot as a kid, and even to an extent as an adult. Paddington helped me fit into a normal crowd. Postman Pat took notice of good people in this world, and the Wombles taught a good environmental message, all the while creating memorable stories and even more memorable characters. You've done a lot more good than you realize, Ivor. And while this film doesn't do justice on those facts, at least when I watched it, I thought of you. If a movie that bad can do that alone, then maybe it's not so bad after all.
And what of you, Reese? Will people remember you when you are dead?
What's important is that I'm still here. And though you are gone in physical form, with your spirit, you'll never be dead. Thank you, my friend. I feel I can pass on happily. That's all I ever wanted from you. I hope we can meet again in better circumstances. Goodbye, Pee-wee School Guy. And please enjoy your monster blood. Oh yeah! Ha! What a loser! I mean, who needs friends when you have a full bottle of monster blood right here, son? This has been worth it! No! It's not true! I sacrificed the life from the only friend I have now just for some monster blood to take it inside me. It's not true, is it? I'm not a monster. Am I? Happy Nightmare Before Christmas, everyone!